Hello, creative friends. This is Joy. So this week, I actually have some Soulcollage cards that I decided to do. I've been seeing online about Soulcollage, and I got the book, and then I ended up purchasing some cards, and I went through my stash, and I just kind of grabbed stuff out of my stash of things that you know really spoke to me or that I was drawn to. And there's 12 cards in the in a set that you get. And so I decided on what I wanted to put on these cards, or at least some of what I wanted to put on these cards. On some of these, I just found an image or something I could use as a background. On others, I was able to find other images to go with it. So a couple of these, like this one here, I just found this one picture that I thought would make a good background. The one that you saw just a minute ago, I found the background, and then I found the girl that I stuck down that just seemed like they went together. So I actually had gotten this some time ago and kind of determined what backgrounds and elements I wanted to put on these, and they've been kind of sitting on my desk for, gosh, I don't know how long, like a while. And I've been looking at them and looking at them and looking at them, so I decided this weekend I really need to, finish putting these together and doing whatever I'm going to do with them. So this is the weekend I decided to do it. And this was just some scrap paper. Some of the elements, like the first one you saw, it was a map, and some of the others were from magazines. And then here I just found these two pieces of scrap in my scrap box that I thought was kind of cool and went together, so I thought that would make a neat background. And then once I got all of the backgrounds covered, I went back through, oh, here's one more from a magazine. I went back through my stash and then tried to find other elements to put on the cards. And this one was one that I actually found a background, found a picture, and found a quote that I went with this, particular, you know, pictures, grouping of pictures, and I was able to finish that one right away. Some of these I just had a small element. So then I went back through my stash and was trying to find other elements to add to these cards. And here I'm going through and figuring out I want a person or a girl on this particular card, but trying to figure out what I think would look, best on this card, or what really speaks to me as far as, adding to this card. And once I went through my stash and figured out what else I wanted on these cards, I cut them out, and then I went and glued them on. And I'm just using extreme glue stick. It seems to work really well, and then a credit card to smooth it down. Once I've gone through and done that and found a quote to add to each card and affixed those to the cards, I pulled out my Posca pens. It's a paint pen, and I'm just tracing around some of the elements on the cards using different colors. Some of them, here I'm using black. The one before I used blue. Others I used orange. And then I decided that the edges needed to be painted. At first I was trying to use my finger, and that wasn't really seemed to be working for me, so I grabbed a paintbrush and decided to paint around the edge of each card. And I used a couple different colors. It depended on, the card as to what color I decide to use to edge it in. So here I'm just trying to draw like a little frame around the card. I'm using the paint. It's just plain acrylic paint. And then once I do that, I go around the edge itself and try to clean that up. And I actually ended up having to do this twice because this paint's kind of thin and it wasn't really covering as well as I wanted it to cover, so I did do a second coat around each card to frame it. And here's one of the cards where I had this black and white picture of a bee, so I decided to pull out my watercolors and paint him because I thought he needed some color. And the background that I put on this particular card, it was out of a magazine. It was just, I don't know if that's makeup. I think it's makeup, like pools of makeup. But I thought it would it'd make a cool background. And it was interesting and funny because when I decided to put that on a card for a background, I figured I would put like a woman on the card. But going through my stash and trying to figure out what to put on the cards, I was drawn to this bee, to put this bee on this card for some reason. So it didn't turn out at all like what I thought it would turn out, but I really liked the way it did turn out, so I was really pleased and happy with it, and with this bee on here. And I guess he's on some kind of a pod or a flower, I'm not sure exactly, or maybe it's a bud. So I'm painting that. I decided to put that on the card with him. Okay, so here is my completed set of cards. And I think they really turned out really neat. I like the way they turned out. The first one, and I put a quote on each one that kind of seemed to go with, what was on the card. And so the first one says, "Hope it'll take you anywhere you wish." The next one says, "The most fantastic, magical things can happen, and it all starts with a wish." The next one says, "The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be," which is so true. Next one, "Every new day is another chance to change your life." "Never give up your mission of peace and don't allow fear or darkness to distract you." "Use your spiritual gifts to shower the world with light." "At the moments when you think you're at your weakest, you're inspiring someone around you to be stronger." "Our perfect companions never have fewer than 4 feet." This little kitty on a stack of books. "Life is a succession of moments. To live each one is to succeed." This says, "We must dare to dream great dreams, and when we must dare to put them into action." This one, "All journeys actually end in the same place, home." And that's kind of feels like home, with the mountains in the background, and I love the flowers in our basket. "The starting point of all adventures is desire." And I actually painted a little sailboat in the water because it just seemed like it needed a little sailboat there. And this says, "Land of the free, home of the brave." I thought that was kind of neat. So that is all the cards that I made. I hope you guys liked the video, and we'll talk to you again later. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.